Welcome back, everyone. I'm Matt. He's Andy.
Actually, you're Andy and I'm Matt.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Matt and Andy with...
Andy and Matt. I'm Matt and he's Andy.
And she's the Avatar, and you gotta deal with it. Part 2, motherfuckers.
Well, she really kind of just jumped in. It was very different.
Yeah.
Because we've been looking for the Avatar. What makes you so sure that your daughter is the new Avatar? She's. I'm pretty sure. I mean, she's throwing fire and rocks and water and screaming about being the Avatar. I mean,
Yeah, that all checks out. So this is part 2 to our Avatar Last Airbender universe discussion. So Legend of Korra came out on August 15th on Netflix, and now it's accessible to everybody, even though it's been out for like 10 years. So just a heads up, if you haven't seen it, we can't talk about it without there being spoilers. So if you don't want spoilers, go watch it first and then come on back. Matt, do you want to give us the rundown of all our affiliates and shout-outs?
absolutely. You see, first, I want to draw attention to Hibyrd Productions, as they have not just our show we're doing now, Matt and Andy with Andy and Matt, but also
Preach.
Let's Try Something New, another one that I happen to be in, and I'm very proud of that because
love it.
I make ridiculous faces and try strange foods that might not be strange to other people, but they're definitely strange to me because I'm a taupe wall
I love
as far
the
as
struggle.
food goes.
I love your struggle.
Oh my god, I think I threw up in the last one.
I almost, and I was kind of hoping for it. And another one where Matt's not almost puking every time.
Well, I'm actually not in the other one that I wanted to point out,
That's
and
why
that
you're
was
not
called
puking.
okay, the gas station, and that's done by our
Co-conspirators.
That's a great word.
Yeah,
Co-conspirators.
That's what we're going to use. And, I'm going to give a shout out to all of the availability. We are on Apple Podcasts. We're on Spotify and wherever else podcasts are streamed.
We're actually on YouTube now, which is where I like to watch us, because who doesn't like to see a face like that one?
Yeah, I do like looking at Matt's face as he's in pure anguish and torment. It's one of my favorite things.
You're so mean.
I know, I'm a sick person. We've also got all of our social media going now, so you can find us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and
Spotify?
Yeah, no, well, we already said Spotify, but we're also on gagreels.com and the Daily Motion, and I think we've got a FetLife profile now too.
Am I on that?
Yeah, you're the main page. We're trying to find Matt a dominatrix, so if you know one, please give us a call
Why
at
didn't
1-800
anyone tell me about this?
Please. It was a surprise. Happy birthday!
My birthday was months ago.
Well, it's better late
You're
than
late.
never. All right, so Avatar: The Last Airbender, Legend of Korra, set in a magnanimous and beautiful place.
She's not really the last airbender.
No, she's not really the last airbender. I mean, technically none of them are at a certain point. So main protagonist is going to be Avatar Korra, Southern Water Tribe, pretty feisty. And her initial intro was, I'm the Avatar, you've got to deal with it. First line ever to come out. I think that's probably the most aggressive Avatar since Kyoshi.
Well, Kyoshi was very, very aggressive. Like, kill them aggressive.
Oh, yeah, like her spirit animal was definitely guns. No doubt.
I still want to argue with that, but I don't know enough about Kyoshi to argue.
Kyoshi just summoned 2 Uzis from the earth and said, it is okay to murder. And then she shoved her size 18 boot up whoever's ass was right in front of her.
Didn't she live to be like 230?
Dude, Kyoshi was a bamf. Kyoshi, I honestly don't think Kyoshi was human. I think she was some kind of crossbreed of some spooky spirit and dragon turtle person, but...
Isn't that what the Avatar is?
I mean, I don't know, man. She's 7 foot
Like,
tall and got a size 18. Aang was like 5'4".
In Korra, they actually go over what the original Avatar, how they became
Wan.
the Avatar. His name was Wan.
Yeah, dragon turtles.
And he was basically kicked out of his dragon turtle city.
Yeah,
But
and
was
then
like,
he was
hey,
like,
can I keep
hey.
that fire? And he befriended the spirits and found another dragon turtle and was like, holy crap, these guys are moving air. I want to do this.
But that's later, and we're going to go through this as methodically as we can. So let's save that golden nugget that you got going on right there. So, book 1. Korra leaves, what was it, the White Lotus Sanctuary in the southern
the Southern Water Tribe, because she actually they make it very clear that she doesn't have to travel the world to learn all the bending elements. They teach them all to her like right away in the very beginning.
And you know what's wild to me too, Matt, is like it seems like the 100-Year War started and it screwed everything up, and obviously Aang couldn't get the teaching he wanted, but it doesn't really seem like there was like there wasn't an organization in place to train the Avatar. Like they were like, well, we really messed up last time, and the next one, seriously, we got to do it right. So let's make a whole organization of these guys who, I feel like the White Lotus got milquetoast out, turned very taupe, because it was like, we're these master benders from all these cultures in a secret society, and now there's all these schmucks who I
want to join that secret society. Yeah. Oh man, that's so cool. I'd love to be a part of that.
I can bend one element and not very well, but I am an elite guard.
Oh, they were
schmucks,
but they trained the Avatar, and because of it, the Avatar was completely knocked on her ass when she jumped into those bending matches.
Well, but that was a whole different thing.
When she is brought from the Southern Water Tribe to Republic City to join the Airbenders, to join Tenzin.
She's not brought. She sneaks out.
When she that is
Katara's like, yeah, go, you go, girl,
you go, and she knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, she had no idea what she was doing. She had no money. She was cooking fish in the park with the homeless guy.
It worked.
But pro bending, so yeah, we're past the point. She's on the
Republic
island.
City. When she first gets to Republic City, it is such a shock because everybody is people are using bending for all kinds of stuff. There's people using lightning bending just for their jobs. There's cars, which is very different.
She's never seen a car.
The Sato-mobile.
The Sato-mobile. But what I really want to talk about the bending leagues, because fire ferrets, fire.
Pabu.
Yes, Pabu, my favorite little critter. I really like that they threw that in there because, when we were looking at like the first series of Avatar, it was all like a very they were warriors. It was traditional martial arts. It was very non-adaptive to like a modern style of what you would think fighting would be. And then they bring in this pro bending thing, and it's basically like the MMA or like, professional fighting of the bending world. So there's like this whole new style of like quick punches, fast sweeps, redirects. And it's like, I think the fighting actually maybe not so much was like so big and so boom, like giant balls of fire and huge tornadoes of wind, but it's definitely like a much more ferocious way that they're throwing these elements out. Like it's just like they're hucking elements with these like right and left hooks. Like it's weird because like at one point you see this traditional like boxer style or even like this, general defense stance of mixed martial arts. And then you turn around and it's like, oh, hey, look at this wushu kung fu. And this guy just shot lightning out of the tip of his fingers.
Well, yeah, and when Korra first arrives at Republic City and joins the Fire Ferrets, she's knocked on her ass so quick because she's not prepared for that. No. She's like, okay, I've been fighting my whole life. Oh crap! Yeah. And then she loses because this is a completely different style, a new means of using bending. Oh, hey, I don't need to crush you with this giant boulder or this ice spike. I just need to knock you on the ground over there.
Yeah, pretty much, just boot you off of the ring, and like. I think it's like really cool, like the way that they adapted Korra, and like I don't know, like one thing I don't like because I like Legend of Korra. I liked it when it came out originally.
I did not.
I know most people don't. Everybody hates it. If you hate it, you're wrong. I'm sorry. Your opinion is not correct. But
you can't tell someone their opinion is wrong.
I just did at me. Anyway,
at you.
Yeah, at me on add us on Twitter or Facebook, anywhere you want to come at me. Let's go. I will bend rocks everywhere, earthbender style.
Okay, so you'd be an earthbender.
Oh, for sure. I got the strong stance, the big feet, and the tight, these meaty claws.
Big meaty claws.
These claws ain't just for mating.
For attracting mates.
Whatever.
Anyway.
You know what I mean.
Can I mention the villain in the first arc of Korra?
Yeah. So let's jump into that right away.
Basically in like near the beginning.
Unalaq
was the second.
That was weird.
Yeah. There was some kind of.
There was like a weird cut. It did a repeat.
It repeated me like 4 or 5 times just now.
Kevin, are we good over there? Yeah, like it glitched and then it just like repeated a few times. It's back to normal now, but are we good over there? Yeah, it should be. All right, so we'll just continue and cut and cut.
So back to the first primary villain of the first arc, not Unalaq. Unalaq was the second one. The first arc was Amon. Amon was the first. He was basically a Hitler type terrorist who was like everybody.
No,
he was.
No. He was not a Hitler type terrorist. If anybody was a Hitler type terrorist, which would have been a like fascist regime, it would have been Kuvira in the final season. If anything, Amon was more of like not even an anarchist, because that's the whole third season group is the Red Lotus is the anarchists. He was more of a like rebellious. It was more. I feel like it was more of a like a socialism or maybe a communism, because he was about equality through like pulling away the advantage of power from benders.
The advantage of power that he had.
Well, yeah, but I mean that's besides the point. Outside of the fact that he's lying.
That's the point that I'm trying to make.
But I wouldn't call him like Hitler. He didn't have like a military. He had an underground ragtag team of chi blockers who were like stealing bending to like bring up the proletariat class above the bourgeoisie. So that's more of like I think like a socialism or communism type of deal. Because fascism would definitely be. She was like, I'm going to make an army and take everything, and you got to deal with it.
Or you can have no protection and just be destroyed by bandits.
Yeah.
Because why would I care?
Enjoy. Exactly. But what about the villain from the first series?
Well, I think
first season?
it was very three-dimensional, that the way that he came about his plan and what he tried to do, as opposed to like they make it very clear in the very beginning of Korra that it's going to be nothing like there's Atla.
Yeah.
Nothing at all.
No, they did say.
Because it's about like...
it's not about Aang.
No, but it's not even... I'm not even concerning Aang. I mean concerning the challenges that this new avatar has to face. This socio-political type of villain who enlists other people and points out politically how bad a person she is. Oh, the avatar, this and this and this. And demonstrates it to the people.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous, but it worked. It worked. It drew so many people to his cause. Mm-hmm. And when you have the people against you, it really, like, that was a prime thing throughout Korra of public opinion matters.
Yeah. I really do like to, like, Amon is a villain and his backstory coming from Yakone, which was his father.
The bloodbender.
Yeah, the bloodbender, which kind of, like, you know, so I like that, like, these specialty bending, like, things are still keeping, like, in with the show. But I also like, too, how, like, you know, in Avatar The Last Airbender, the Fire Lord, you know, the Fire Nation was the villain, and then like when you had that small sub villain of like the Dai Li agents in that like small arc, you know, there's no and Ba Sing Se, Judy.
There's no war.
Yeah, there's no war in Ba Sing Se. So like I like too that we see a very large variety of where like the evil is coming from, because like it's Water Tribe villain, all the elements, and then Rock Monster Lady, who's also like rock monster lady. Rock lobster.
Rock monster.
Rock monster.
No, metal monster.
Yes, metal monster. But I like that we have like that variety now. It's like everyone's evil. There's no exceptions.
Well, I don't think it's everyone's evil. Everyone's trying to go about accomplishing their own goals in a certain way, and evil is a byproduct of a lot of it. Mm-hmm. Like the Red Lotus didn't believe they were evil, and Amon, he might have believed he was evil at some point, but I don't think so.
I see, and that's the thing too, because like I would only say that there was one villain in the entirety of the series that, in the second series, obviously, that like was a villain, like a real villain, and that's her uncle,
Unalaq.
Yeah, Unalaq. He was evil. His plan was to be like the dark avatar and destroy the world, like that 10,000 years of darkness, straight out evil. But like realistically, even though Amon was like a waterbender, but he saw like
wait. Unalaq was part of the Red Lotus too, didn't he?
Yeah, he was also
them?
Part of the Red Lotus,
like,
but he betrayed them because he was like selfish. He wanted that personal growth. Like he just wanted to be the guy, right?
Yes.
But like Amon, right? Even though he was a waterbender, he wanted equality for everybody, and that was his goal. Not necessarily something terrible, right?
Okay.
And then you have the Red Lotus. I mean, being an anarchist, but they truly believe that what they were doing was the right path to put like humanity back on the right side of balance, because in an anarchist head, chaos is the natural state, and that's where everyone is going to thrive better. And then you have in the fourth season, say it again for me, Kuvira. I'm sorry.
Kuvira.
Kuvira. I'm sorry, everyone. Kuvira. she, took things a little bit too far, but her original intent was to like quash the rebellion, take care of all the issues, and then unite the Earth Kingdom. But like just in the wrong way. And I think that's like the general problem with most of the villains is they had an admirable goal, but they went about it in not the best way they could have.
Well, she was almost like Darth Vader. I'm going to bring order to this place by choking the shit out of it.
I mean, pretty much, man, but like, I don't know, sometimes.
Sometimes.
That's what the Chinese did.
Haman was... he would have been an excellent revolutionary if he wasn't such a hypocrite.
For sure.
And he, like, even his prime henchman at the very end caught him and was like, you know what? I'm fucking done with this. I'm out. And
and then he beat the hell out of him.
He just kind of
just
picked
like,
him up and was like,
yeah.
threw him away like trash.
Yeah, well, because I mean, that's what everyone was to him pretty much.
He was a bad guy.
Exactly. So yeah, but back to my original point. So
why didn't he take more damage having been lightning struck by Mako? I feel like that was point blank.
Okay.
This freaking close.
But hear me out. How many times did like people get tossed around, thrown off cliffs, smashed into buildings, crushed by this, punched by that, yada yada yada, which would have killed anybody? I think it's just like, oh, we throw rocks, we're naturally sturdier. Like, I feel like you're fighting each other with elements, your body is naturally tougher because of that. Like, because if it was like me and you and we could suddenly shoot fire and rocks out at each other, we'd be like hiding behind cover and shooting like finger guns everywhere. Just pew, 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 because you'd be dead. One rock to the dome and you're gone. Sharp rock, bing, I just made my rock into a bullet. Wow, firebolt, yeah. Water slice off your head. You don't even know you're dead yet, and then your freaking head slides off your neck.
They did do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Ming Hao had some crazy
Ming Hao
fucking
did
ice,
have some crazy stuff.
Ice bending, water bending. Well, we'll get to her. We'll get to her.
Yeah, let's wrap up villain one. Do you like how like his backstory and like how that season ended was like very like soap opera-y in a sense?
It kind of really was. It was very like
dramatic.
They were both like, we could have this new life and it would be wonderful. They were talking to each other. They both knew it was a lie,
dude.
But they both knew. None of them spoke to each other about it because the one who's turned away, you could see him crying, but the other guy didn't see it.
No, but they both knew in their hearts. But it's so funny too because you know what I really like about like Amon and
I'd hold a grudge. I'd be like, you took away my bending, you asshole.
I feel you. But and you know what I like about those two? It's like they had a criminal father who left, tried to start a new life, and the second his kids were bloodbenders, he was like back to old garbage gangster. And they were basically like tortured.
They were.
To do this thing. And then of course they grow up screwed up. Nurture versus nature, but when you can like bend someone's body with the blood inside of them, what you turn into is evil, just evil. It's an evil thing.
It is. I would say it's an evil thing, but
I mean, it is.
If I was a waterbender, I would try it.
I mean,
I would not hostily, but
hurts,
I would try it.
But it hurts. You can't do it without hurting that person.
That's what I would focus on.
Hurting the person?
No, on doing it without hurting the person.
You can't. Though.
Hey, there was a time they believed bloodbending couldn't be a thing at all. And then someone started.
That's
so
fair.
There is no reason that with all the advances in bending that they make in this series, come on.
You got me.
Thank you.
So I do like how like dramatic and plot twisty the end of season 1 was. Like when they're just like, yeah, it'll be like old times, and he has the glove on, he's like, yes, brother, like old times. Like the first time I saw that, I was like, what?
That's crazy. They just killed those guys.
I was kind of sad
because you grow to understand these people, their motives. They're, like I said, they're 3-dimensional with real life.
Really are.
And what was his brother's name? The councilman. Because he attacked Korra too. It was
Tonrock. No, that was her dad. I don't remember. I don't. Hey, Google team, can you find out what Amon's brother's name was? Because we ingest a lot of plant material on a daily basis.
What?
Could you get into looking up what the brother of Amon, what his name was? We can't remember. It's
the councilman in Korra in the first season.
The brother of Amon.
Amon's brother.
Yeah, Amon's brother. The brother of Amon. The brother who's Amon's brother specifically. The Cusco poison. The poison for Cusco. That poison.
Is this a...
Pull the lever, Crunk.
Amon born as Noah Tech.
Noah Talk. Okay, Amon was Noah Talk.
Okay.
I do remember that.
Amon Ra.
Look up
Pum Ra.
Look up the Wikipedia profile for the guy and just tell me what his brother's name is.
Okay,
we gotta jot down notes.
Anyway,
this will be easier if I
He was a councilman who
So
attacked
leave it at that.
Korra, and because he picked up Korra, he was, I guess,
Yeah, the task force.
yeah. Well, he was trying to get her to join the task force, and he strong-armed her into it eventually.
Yeah.
But it's almost like they were working together without knowing each other or knowing that was happening. They were like, okay, I'm going to push that these regular people were equal as terrorists, and I'm going to lock them all away. And the other guy's like, look at their benders. They're oppressing us. We can't let this happen. We need to. It was like they were both fueling the fire from each side.
No doubt.
And it was a great plan, even if they hadn't planned it.
You know what it was? Is they were playing the same game from opposite ends and using like the chaos that the other one was providing to further themselves.
Which is great. It would have worked too.
Yeah.
Like
But those meddling kids and that dog.
that fire ferret.
Naga.
No.
You forgot about the polar bear dog, the biggest animal?
I like the polar bear dog, just not as much as
I know,
as
who
Pabu.
doesn't like Pabu?
Tarlock?
That's
Does
what-
that
Yes,
sound-
Tarlock.
Tarlock.
Councilman
That's what his name is.
Tarlock. That's what his
Councilman
name
Tarlock.
was.
Thank
Jeez.
you.
Oh, boy. All right. So now that we've embarrassed ourselves, season 2.
No. I want to mention how Tarlock fought Korra because
Like an asshole?
He was like, "Hey, I've got this waterfall in my office because I'm a waterbender."
And he threw like a wall of needles at her, right?
He pulled this bubble around himself, so he's got a shield, and he just keeps shooting shards of ice out of it at her.
I like that, though.
It's a great technique.
You see it a lot.
It works great, but she's just like, oh hey, I'm not just a firebender or an airbender, I'm an earthbender, and
I'm the Avatar.
She pulls the fucking the wall behind him,
Dude, so
and
good.
almost crushes him. He's like, ah,
Yeah, perfect. Absolutely amazing.
very interesting fight. Probably my favorite in the first season.
I do, and I also want to touch on base, like so the chi blocking, right? So Ty Lee, right? She was the one to learn that and like spread it around. And I haven't read a lot of extended lore. I just know that she did teach that to the Kyoshi warriors, which like I find really funny that like by proxy, the Kyoshi warriors are technically now villains because they trained a bunch of people enough to get that out into the world where now like people who are trying to like upend how things work now can just be like, you can't do nothing. Tippity tap. I squeezed your elbow a little bit. And now you can't bend elements anymore for at least 30 seconds.
That would be a nightmare. Oh my god,
dude,
I would be so terrified of
Wild.
sheep blockers all the time if I was a bender.
Dude, wild. And then I do just want to touch base. So like, I think that the writers did a really good job of still giving us like the same group atmosphere. So, you've got your avatar, you've got your sassy companion who's a little like edgy, I guess. So like Toph would be like what Mako is, I think, for new team avatar.
Okay.
And then Bolin is obviously Sokka.
Yes.
And then Asami is like the Katara replacement, like the really pretty but like really fierce fighter character that comes in and like ends up like helping the avatar a lot more than intended. And it's also like the final romantic interest. So like they built that same group dynamic in that same way. They just were like, here, da-da-da-da-da. I do really like how Legend of Korra gives us more than one Sokka, in my opinion. We get Bolin, we get Boomy, we get Varric, we get
Do the thing.
Yeah, Julie. We get those 3. And then I also feel like
Prince
Kai.
Raiko.
I don't remember what his name was. I hate that guy.
soon-to-be king.
Wuan? Whatever. The snooty prince boy in the end, I think he was like the stupid Sokka, the one that does the dumb stuff, because he was just dumb.
I don't know.
He was dumb as hell until the end, and then he made a good choice. But anyway, season 2.
Yes, season 2 had a different feel to it because it had
The worst one.
Well, it was like these guys knew exactly what they were doing.
Right.
Season 2 was the Red Lotus.
No, season 3 was Red Lotus. Season 2 was Spirits.
The Spirits. Oh man.
I mean, because you had Unalaq, and he's part of the Red Lotus, but that wasn't known until season 3.
Yes.
You know what I think starting in season 2 and why I don't like season 2 so much? It's like, hey, obvious villain is obvious.
Obviously. And it's almost like you can telegraph that it's coming because Korra just got done dealing with how Tenzin and Tarlock were like, well, the Avatar should be like this. And she goes with Tarlock because he's different than Tenzin, who's been very strict with her airbending training.
Right.
But Tarlock ends up using her, just like Tenzin said he
Right.
would. And then Udalak he ends up using her just like Tenzin said he would.
Well, she's got that rebellious youth, like, I'm the Avatar. I've lived a sheltered life up until now because everybody said it was what was best for me. Everybody told me what to do, when to do, da-da-da. So she's just doing that, like, I've been told forever to do what I am supposed to do. And now finally I'm out in, like, this free city where everyone is free to do whatever they want and I'm still getting ordered around. It's that angsty teenager thing. She's like, I'm going to rebel for the sake of rebelling because I'm tired of everybody telling me what to do. I'm the gosh dang Avatar.
The Avatar?
Avatar. Yeah, Avatar.
Like a planeteer.
Yeah, like a planeteer, like Captain Planet.
Captain Planet.
Yeah, but she had all of the rings. She was stunning.
She
had a lot of clout on her hands. No, she had heart. She had a polar bear dog.
She did have a polar bear dog.
She had heart, she had clout, and she had a polar bear dog.
Those are not the rings for the Planeteers.
I just remembered one of my favorite jokes from like right in the beginning of the series where they threw out like her sexuality in a joke was like she's like, are you gonna buy or are you just looking? And she was like, oh, I guess you could say I'm bi-curious. I just remembered that. And I'm like, wow, that's a nice drop.
Yeah.
Like very subtle, very smooth, nice little fun joke, but it's in there.
Was that at the food hut in the beginning?
That was like the very first episode.
Where Nago was like
they got it out right away. They were like, yep, here you go. Enjoy.
Okay.
Inclusivity. But season 2, like, I think started that trend of like obvious villain is obvious. Like, you knew the second you saw him, you're like,
that's the bad
right
guy.
There, that's him.
Why is she working with him?
Yeah, exactly. And
then he shows her the spirit thing, and
yeah.
how like, oh well, you can disperse them. It's not. I'm sure as the Avatar, you should know how to do this.
And he's just like,
why did Tenzin fail you? He starts alienating her towards Tenzin, and I don't know why I keep motioning.
I don't know because we're
curtain,
Italians.
like it's Tenzin.
Yeah, it is Tenzin. He's a taupe black curtain.
I'm a taupe curtain.
You're a taupe curtain for sure.
I'm
nice
taupe wall.
Beige cream.
Thank you.
Yeah, and like that, obviously I think was with the writers to push the plot progression a little bit like faster and get more crazy stuff going on because like how else would they have gotten the portals open and then the military's there and like she was just like very instrumental. I do also like Bolin, he like tried to date Korra and obviously his brother's like, yo, what up? So that didn't work out, but then he's like, ooh, another pretty water tribe girl. And then she's like, I'm gonna turn you into my slave. And he's like, okay.
Is this what it's like to have a girlfriend?
Right.
I don't know. And Mako and Asami are both like, you really need to end it with that chick. And he's like, I've tried. You guys give me terrible advice.
Right.
I
like,
told her no, and she said we should get married.
Dude, when she was running after Korra in the ocean, after she ruined the wedding,
my husband. The makeup was running.
Yeah,
oh man,
wild and terrifying. I do like how they came around. Fury. I like how they came around in the end, like when everything was going like south, and he was so excited, like he loved her. Like Mako was just like, "Good save, bro," and he's like, "Yeah, good," and he's like wiping away tears.
Yeah, it was a lie.
Yeah, no, he meant every single word of that. I think that was like my least favorite season, but also like my favorite season because we get to see Iroh in the spirit world. I really like the background with Juan and like how he makes that like lemur spirit friend who names him Stinky like immediately. Perfect. I like the dragon turtles. Like I like seeing all that lore, but at the same time, like I didn't really like the villain. The end was cool. Like she turned into a giant woman.
It was more for me. I can agree with that because to me it was more about the development of the characters than it was about the plot they were trying to overcome. Even though that villain was probably the most important villain, the heaviest handed villain. Yeah, like the biggest. Like 10,000 years of darkness. That would be really terrible. Nothing else would have mattered.
Yes,
I mean if the Avatar died, if something would have happened like in the first season and the Avatar died, okay, well there'll be a new Avatar.
Right. Oh, and we skipped like a super important part. So Korra has had like objectively the worst time as an Avatar, like right out the get-go. So her bending gets shut off, but then she gets the power to turn bending back on thanks to Aang. Oh, yo, I totally forgot. So one of my favorite moments in Legend of Korra is when she is sitting on the edge of that cliff.
Yes.
And she is fully committed, ready to commit suicide. Because if she dies, it starts over and she's cut off from the Avatar state. She can't bend. She was ready to go, bro. Like she knew if she went out, she would continue the line and she was ready to make that commitment. And then Aang shows up. And my favorite part in this whole series.
She thought it was Tenzin.
Yeah, she did think it was Tenzin. But when Aang shows up, he goes, I think the line exactly was, when we reach our lowest points, that's when we're open to the greatest change. And then all the avatars shoot out. And I'm just like, dude, I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it.
Man.
That is the hottest moment in the whole show.
I honestly, my I think maybe my favorite part. It's not as important, but it's when Tenzin was in the spirit world with Kaya and Bumi, and they make it to the fog.
Yeah.
And that fog, and Tenzin's like, no, Bumi wanders off. He's like, no, I have to do this. And Kaya's like, no, wait.
Yeah.
And she goes with him, but they are both lost on their own. And it becomes just Tenzin, like, I have to do this. I am this. I am this. I am this.
I am an airbending master. Meow.
And then he runs into Aang too. And Aang is like,
but
no,
it's a
you're not-
reflection of himself.
Yeah, he's like, you're not a reflection of me. You're your own person. And then he's like, yeah, I am. And then the fog clears, and he just sees everybody there.
Yeah, it's wild. I definitely love that. But so she gets her bending shut off. And then in that season, when all that happens, she gets the spirit of Rava ripped out of her.
Which is, you know what? That's probably the part that I hate most about the series.
Yeah,
was
Avatar
that
State's gone.
Or
not Avatar State, the link to the
previous
past
avatars,
lives.
and that's like what was most important about the Avatar.
But you know, it makes sense because like the memories and the link of the avatars are held in Rava's like spirit body, and it got destroyed. So like, I don't like that they did that, but it makes sense. Like, it wouldn't make sense for her to still have that when that physically, air quotes, because it's in the spirit world, was like destroyed by Vatu. It wouldn't make sense, you know?
Yeah, but not much made sense about that anyway.
I mean, dude, they're shooting fire and shit, and they bend lava, and there's bunny rabbits with like bug wings. I don't know. Nothing makes sense. There's turtle ducks and moose leopards and Bosco.
I miss them. The Earth Queen ate that bear.
I can't believe Bosco got eaten by them.
The Earth Queen. I'm glad.
like
you know what? I'm glad. But under the third season, I'm
Yo.
glad the Earth Queen fucking died.
Bro,
She
she's
was
the
a
Dolores
horrible
Umbridge.
person.
She's Dolores Umbridge of that
I
series.
don't know who that is.
Harry Potter? The most hated person in Harry Potter?
Dolores
the chick with the pink and she
Oh my God.
with the quill that would
It's
like,
like writing
drill
in
into
your
your arm.
arm.
Yeah. And then
yes.
she got brought off by the centaurs. Oh, spoiler alert for anybody who doesn't really know anything about like the lore of creatures, but what centaurs do to breed is they take human women and then they rape them. And then that's how they make babies. Dolores Umbridge got raped by centaurs.
That's horrible.
No doubt.
That's horrible.
She deserves it.
Oh,
She was terrible.
you think so?
Awful, just awful. So yeah, but on to season 3. Also my favorite season with my favorite set of villains, but
I think Zahir was fucking bullshit. He was this
You're
guy.
so mad about
I am
that.
so mad that this dude who's been an airbender for maybe a week because the portals were opened in season 2.
right, and the harmonic convergence gave everybody airbender or rebalanced the amount of airbenders.
Put more airbenders out there. Yes, but
Good
this
for
dude
Boomy.
who's been an airbender for like maybe a week in a cell is able to kick the six people.
There was
the White Lotus
5,
guards,
but they were
5.
nobodies.
But the White Lotus were nobodies.
And bro,
that's
okay, no.
That's painful. That's upsetting.
It's because they were just regular grunts. They weren't anybody special. They weren't, Boomy or Uncle Iroh. They were just like Tim and Joe and Carlos. Like they're nobody.
So the White Lotus let Tim and Joe and Carlos join.
You need foot soldiers. Cannon fodder is important in the military. Go look at the infantry.
The White Lotus wasn't supposed to be a military.
Yes, it was basically. It was like an order of people who were set to protect the Avatar. That's like a standing military. It's like the mobile infantry. Do you want to live forever, you apes?
No. I got more of a vibe from that out of the Earth Kingdom.
I mean, well, the Earth Kingdom was like freaking Russia, like just Nazi Russia.
It really was.
Like the Earth Queen was terrible. Like it was basically just like secret police. It was I want to say it was like a fascism, like a militant fascism disguising itself as like a monarchy because of the secret police and everybody getting like taken off, and she's just like in the dungeon, like typical royal piece of shit.
She was a royal piece of shit.
She ate Bosco, bro.
Oh,
like all of her crimes above, she ate Bosco.
Oh.
How could she eat Bosco? And then and then you know what? The nuts on her.
The only bear.
The only bear in existence.
Is what you mean, like a moose bear or like
platypus bear? Nope,
No.
just a bear.
Just
That's
the
weird.
only bear in Avatar.
I bet it tasted amazing. I bet Bosco tasted real good.
Let's not talk about
I don't want to
how
talk
he
about
tasted.
it. It's like talking about Nina Tucker. We don't talk about that. Edward?
No.
Everybody now hates us.
Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah, forever. I do like that a lot. And you know what? Honestly, the Red Lotus, they were like my favorite villains to hear. I was like, you make a lot of sense.
I liked how they went about attacking the Avatar because it was very precise and
poison.
strategic. Not just the poison was great,
But every way they brought her like closer and closer to getting captured everything was very like strategic and tactile.
They knew exactly what they were doing the entire time, and it was almost like they had done their research. They had followed the appropriate lore instead of just being, I'm a more powerful bender than you.
I mean,
I'm gonna calculatedly, strategically plan the annihilation of this specific being.
Right.
And it was perfect. Everything about it was perfect, except they did exactly what everyone else does. They underestimated the Avatar state.
Yeah, and at some point got destroyed. I really liked
Ming Hao. Ming Hao was my favorite.
Ming Hao was a beast.
The armless lady.
Zahir was my favorite.
He was full of shit.
Back to what you were saying, but no. Okay, hear me out, my man. Back to what you were saying before. So, like, your main point is, like, how does this dude who just became an airbender, who wasn't a bender, like, how is he good enough to fight his way out? He ended up in that jail cell for a reason, and they do say that one of them alone, including Zahir, could take out any bender, no problem. The four of them together could destroy entire nations.
Yeah, but
so he was already a Banff beforehand, but hear me out. That entire season, he knows so much about the airbenders, like Guru Lahima, about like cutting the tethers from the earth and entering the void and becoming wind, and that's how you gain weightlessness. What makes you think he knows all this like deep background airbender lore and did not study the martial art forms? Because as a guy who can't bend, it's still a martial art form and he could still use it. It's how he moved. Like when he moved through the spinning gates.
Yes.
Right there tells you that he trained in the airbender form of combat. And that's why he can do that stuff.
But it was very different from Tenzin or Milo or any of the other people that passed through those airbender gates.
Because we just saw him. Like, we don't know how he learned or how he trained. And he also wasn't a bender when he learned it.
No, I mean, like, how he passed through the gates.
Yeah, he did. But he did it in the style of an airbender. He just did a show-off version of it.
It felt very un-airbendery.
It felt very airbender-y to me.
Distinctively different to me.
Why? Because he did a backflip or some nonsense to get out of there?
He was doing multiple flips.
Even Milo said, now that man's the leaf.
I don't...
Milo was in charge.
I'm not going to argue.
If Milo says it, it goes.
I know.
Or he'll fart in your face.
And I would die.
Yes.
Probably.
No, definitely. All that, like, fart juice in your lungs, you're done.
Fart juice.
Yeah, fart juice.
Fart juice right now.
It's
available
the quenchiest.
at hybrid.com. It's the quenchiest.
It tastes like fart.
Cactus juice.
Cactus juice and fart. Speaking of Milo, he's a nightmare.
But the Red Lotus they were very close to abducting Korra at the beginning.
Dude, super close.
What was the name of that city? The Metal City that they kept saying was so fucking protected. Producer.
Crap. Yeah, I don't remember. And you know, it's funny because I just finished season 3 yesterday. Yeah, I can't remember. It's a lot of plant material. Like, too much, maybe.
It's actually a lot of lore material.
It's a lot.
They flush out everything.
But that's not until season 4. We don't, right?
Season 3.
Season 3. Oh yeah, we do see that in season 3 because Opal becomes an airbender. I like how Bolin like tries hard to get a gal, finally gets one, and then makes like a choice that he thinks is a good choice, but it's a bad one.
Or something.
Zhaofu, that's what it was. That was the metal bending city. Thank you, producer.
Gotcha.
Yes.
But yeah, like Bolin just doesn't have any luck. Like he's like, I'm doing good. Because he went Korra, and then he went Desna, and then Desna, and then he did the movie star chick, and then Opal, and then even I don't remember if they like made up in the end. I feel like they kind of half didn't.
I feel like they kind of half did though.
I do love that Varric and Julie ended up getting married.
That was wonderful.
I love the catchphrase Julie do the thing. Honestly, I don't think the series would be as funny without Varric.
Yeah, he brought a certain
amount of shenanigans.
I was going to say it's eccentric aspect to it.
Sure.
Because he was very eccentric, but who wouldn't be with that much money?
Yeah,
and Julie, do the thing.
I do like too that like throughout the seasons we do see we see Katara again. I like that we find Toph in the swamp and she's just like mean. She's just mean to Korra, like she was mean to Aang.
Good to see you again, Twinkle Toes.
I'm so sad that we didn't get to see Sokka one more time.
Except
for in a flashback.
He was in a flashback.
But I know he spent a lot of time with Boomy because Boomy is basically what I imagine Sokka would be at that age, and that makes me happy.
I can agree with that.
I don't like how the studio portrayed Aang out to be a shit tier dad, though. Like, I get what they were trying to do with it, but I really feel like in the actuality of like how Aang was as a kid and how he would have like morphed growing up as into an adult, especially with Katara and like the Avatar gang that he had, I don't feel like he would have like neglected his other children the way that the studio portrayed that. Like, oh, they never went on vacations with him and never did this cool thing and that cool thing and da 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 da. Like, why wouldn't he bring in his kids?
I don't think that there is a chance in hell that he would let the Avatar duties overshadow
his family.
He was very once he got that family with Katara, he'd have been all over it.
For
like,
sure.
absolutely, this is my home. This is my family.
Yeah, and it bums me out, but I mean, I get why they did it. I also will say, like, Avatar has never been known for like showing like not violence, but like no one ever really dies. You know,
Well,
people just get
people died left and right.
Yeah, but
in
people who
Korra.
don't matter die, and they mostly die off screen, right? But you don't see like characters who are important, like getting like their heads cut off or like a spear through them. But Pli, Zahir's girlfriend, the combustion bender.
After she died was when he cut the tether.
Yeah, that's when he cut the tether, entered the void, became wind, learned flight. But bro, they wrapped the metal around her head when she shot a combustion bolt. That's got to be the most brutal death that I've ever seen in a children's cartoon before in my life. Like, her head exploded in there.
There's no way that it did.
No, it's a red mess that they just didn't want to show you on TV, but that's like the most vicious death I've ever seen in like a Nickelodeon show, next to SpongeBob.
What? How did SpongeBob die?
SpongeBob didn't die, but Bubble Buddy buried a dude up to his neck in the sand and then let high tide come in and he drowned him.
I see.
And then the ghost was like, I experienced high tide. Oh! And then he floated into fish heaven.
Wow.
Yeah, no one really like talks about the cartoons that we've seen that actually murder characters on the show.
Well, he was in another episode.
I mean, another fish that looked like him was in another episode. They can only make so many fish.
I don't believe that.
I think there's
they
a
can make
couple
as many
surfer
as they
fish.
want.
I mean, I guess, yeah, they have enough pencils. I hope the studio's supplying them with enough art supplies.
Yes.
But yeah, like that was probably the most brutal death. And I do really like how that ended. Like, I really thought, you know, when this season first came out and we didn't know we were going to get another season, I really thought that they got her, the poison's in her, the avatar state, the chain thing, everything's going. I was like, this is it. Like,
This is it. She's gone.
She's been
It's
hit
over.
so hard so many times in such a rapid succession. Like, how do you expect her to get through this? And then lo and behold, she's like, guess what? I have airbenders on my side and they're going to make a giant tornado and that's going to save the day. Teamwork.
Who would have really thought that bringing all the airbenders together would backfire? And so it's like, hey, you can fly. You can fly through what? The air, you know, that thing that we control
Right.
whenever we feel like.
I do like how the Dai Li trained all these airbenders, and then when they like tried to break out, they were like, we got you with the Dai Li, and it's like, you trained a bunch of airbenders how to fight, and there's more of them than there are you in this one place, and then they get wrecked. But they look surprised about it. They're like, oh no, who would have thought this militant airbender unit that we have created has defeated us with the help of these people? Man, let me throw my rock hands at you. I do also like how the Earth Queen like got taken out. Like when he was like,
This is the deal.
this is the deal, and she was like, man, he's like, he pulls the breath out of her, and he was just, I think the line was like, when there's nothing left, not even air.
You have taken these people's freedom,
Right.
and freedom is as important as air. And when there is no air, there is only darkness.
Yeah, that was like goosebumps again. Just hearing
Yeah.
it, and then dead. And I'm like, you know what? Good. I
think-
hated her.
I hated her too, and I hate to say that I'm glad she died, but I think
I'm not. She ate Bosco.
It must have been really strange for her Dai Li, the people that were the guards that were like, one of them was just frozen to a pillar because Ming Hao just kind of slammed him real quick. There was another one who was just laying on the ground, and it's like, damn.
Yeah,
to be
dude.
one of those guys, like, wow, I'm really glad they didn't do that to me.
Right? Like, thank God it was the Earth Queen and not me.
Is that a horrible thing?
No, she was
to
a
say?
terrible person. Speaking of other terrible people, I really hated Kai at first because he was a little shit, but then he
Yes.
did improve quite drastically.
I wanted to keep hating him. I
You
really
couldn't.
wanted to keep
You
hating him,
couldn't,
but
though.
I
He was
couldn't
such a
because
cute kid.
He was a great kid. He eventually became
yeah,
a great
eventually
kid.
became a great kid, and like Varric was a little touch and go for a while.
The movers.
The movers, yeah, I love the movers. I also like too, like we're seeing like lava bending again. We didn't see that since Kyoshi. which was really cool.
Bolin.
I like how Bolin like couldn't do metal bending, and they were like, "Guess
tried.
what, sweet baby boy? You don't have luck with the ladies, you don't have luck with the bending, but guess what? Now you got the lava."
And he didn't even know.
No, he was just like, "Well, we might die."
Yeah. And Mako's like, wow, you're a lava bender? And he's like, yeah, I just found out.
Yeah,
like
we're not burning to
just
death.
now. I just now found out.
So good. Like, we're not burning to death. It's great. I also shout back out to season 1 when he saw Mako kissing Korra, and he went to the noodle house and got drunk, and Pabu was like stuck in a bowl, and then he waddled out on the floor.
Oh
with
my
his feet.
god.
Oh boy.
Now my only friend, the only one I can trust, is Pabu.
Right.
And Pabu's just like laying there like ugh.
full of noodles. So season 4 definitely hit me in a weird way.
It was strange to me.
3 years. That was like the largest time jump we had seen so far in the series.
In like an episode.
Yeah, Korra was crippled. You know, she had no leggies, and then
And now she
Katara
does.
got her leggies back. But then you know what I also like, you know, when we go to Zhaofu and we see Sue, and Sue, they're just like, oh, the toxin's metal, you can bend it out of her. And Sue arguably is like a very powerful metal bender, and she couldn't get all the metal out. Like Toph was just like, yeah, my daughters suck at metal bending. They're shit and I hate them. Like, that's her just general attitude. She's like, yeah, you still got metal in there. And she's like, what? Like, wait, what?
What do you mean?
I do also like to, I mean, I don't like that she did this. I don't like that she was like, I'm going to leave home early. And then she's like, oh no, spooky Korra on the shore. I'm not going to go to Republic City. I'm going to cut my hair and travel around the Earth Kingdom and get the crap kicked out of me in some underground MMA league for rock bending. What was that?
I have no idea.
I do like that little spirit though, that was like trying to help her out in the tree, showed up as the dog to bring her to Toph.
Yeah, the little puppy.
Yeah,
thing.
and then when they were finally finding her in the forest, they were like, "Oh no, we're not gonna stay here in the forest." Is like just like Vine Whip, Bulbasaur, and just pulled him into the forest. Like, no, you're supposed to be here.
Oh, spirits, man! Spirits.
I was mad we didn't see any more swamp benders this time around. I wanted to see just like ding diddling ding ding. Oh look, a gator possum.
Pants are an illusion.
Pants are an illusion, and so is death. I love those guys. That was Florida in Avatar, basically, but a lot kinder.
You think so?
Oh, for sure. Because if you walked into my area of the swamp in like real Florida, you'd probably get shot.
Wow.
Hey, dude, you can't walk around here, out here, nowhere.
Well, I mean, if people could control plants, it'd probably be more dangerous.
Yeah, right.
too.
Like you're just like dun, 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 and you get smacked by a giant vine.
That would hurt a lot.
Season 4, arguably, I don't know. If I was gonna rank it, I'd say it's like
underwhelming.
no. I mean, you know what it was. It was like the ending of the series was like she had fought so much more like ridiculously scary shit, you know,
Like more threatening.
bending taken away,
Yeah.
giant darkness avatar monster man, and then like literally like a group of like people who were trying to destroy the avatar forever, and were doing a damn good job of it, threatening the entirety of the air nation, like all that crazy stuff. And then it's like, oh, I made a giant robot with a nuke cannon. Like, yeah, you know, it didn't have the same impact for me. Like, I liked everything that went on before. Like, I liked how they built it up. They had the thing. She didn't seem that bad. Bolin was working with it, Varric and Julie. And then it's like, oh, this is a super scary weapon you're having us make. I don't want to do this. And she's like, well, guess what? Sucks to suck, you know, and all that crazy stuff happened. And then you start to see her turn into like this more dark, like what she really is. Kind of like Hitler, you know? Because like it went the same way. He was like patriotism and nationalism and Germany, and then he like jumped into the purity and power and like, wait a second, hold on, whoa. We went from Germany's cool to let's kill the Jews. But it was like too late. You were already really invested at that point. And she just basically did the same thing. Like, I feel like most of the people in her military, because like Bolin and Varric leave, but Julie like is smart enough to know like, I need to stay here to stop this from happening.
Because somebody had to.
But like, I feel like a lot of people were like, well, what are we going to do? You know, like, what are we, if we can't leave now, you know? And then the other city states that are all getting like eaten up are like, well, what do we do now?
We have to join them. We have no other option.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like Iron Fist, but like open heart, but not really. And everyone was like, it was like South Korea almost. I actually no, I'm sorry. It had that same North Korean dictator feel, but also so did the Ba Sing Se with the Earth Queen and Mako's grandmother. Mako and Bolin's grandmother had the picture, and she was like, yeah, that was a shot at North Korea.
Was it?
A huncho. Because that's like the people who live there have a Kim Jong-un portrait in like their home, and they like pray to it and they worship it like he's a god.
Really?
Yeah. Internet, 5 minutes, man. Just Google North Korea.
Why?
Because then you'll learn all that in like literally 2 seconds.
Okay.
But like, yeah, it was underwhelming.
Okay, because I'm glad I'm not the only one that thought that after seeing the equalist terrorism and the super dark Avatar, and the Red Lotus anarchists.
Right.
Like we're really threatened by a giant robot.
Yeah, and you know what the thing too was? It didn't have the same sense of like world-ending, like threatening. Like, because so Amon with the Benders, he shuts off bending. The world's completely out of bounds. People are terrified, right? That's a scary thing. You're a bender your whole life, and now your bending's going to get taken away. Scary. Super dark, spooky Avatar monster. 10,000 years of darkness. Most terrifying thing you could probably think of. Anarchists who are trying to throw the world back into chaos and kill the Avatar forever.
But not just the Avatar, world leaders.
World leaders as well. And then you get like big angry metal bending robot girl who basically just wants people to stay out of the Earth Kingdom. Like just fuck out of the Earth Kingdom. You know, because everyone's like, oh, she's going to march on the rest of the world.
I don't think she would have.
I don't think she would have. Also, too, I don't know if anybody get like such like just her whole attitude was just like, all right, cool. Like I respected her the whole time. I was like, you're a bad bitch. You got it.
I don't know.
She knew what she wanted. She got what she wanted. And she was
they all knew what they wanted.
And also, I really like too when
except Korra. Korra's the only one who didn't know what she wanted.
No, not at all. But I do like when they're besieging Zhao Fu and like they do that like duel thing, and if she wins, whatever, yada yada yada. I like how not only does Gruvira like kick Korra's ass because she's just not back to full spec, but she makes her look like a fucking idiot doing
it.
Really with the like the stuff over the eyes and grabbing her wrist and pulling her feet out and twisting the earth and stuff. And I'm like,
yeah,
dude, she's making you look a fool.
You look like a bitch,
right? Like you look like a bitch. And then of course you get what was it, Opal, and then oh my god, what's Tenzin's oldest daughter? Crap. Boy, no, that's bad.
Tenzin's oldest daughter.
Yeah, come on, producer guy. What are you doing over there? You're making us look foolish, sir. I don't remember. Wow, how can I forget that?
I want to say it starts with a G.
No, I don't know, man.
Hit me with those names again.
Tenzin's oldest daughter.
All right.
Why can't we remember her? Because I remember Iki and Milo, but I can't remember his oldest daughter's name.
I just want to let you guys know I'm like winging all these spellings of all these names.
Tenzin, I think it's Tenzin.
Usually it pops up pretty good. Tenzin, okay.
Yeah, why can't we remember? Like, she was a very involved
oldest daughter, Jinora?
Yeah, Jinora.
Okay,
I knew it started with a G.
I thought it was maybe
it's a J, actually, from what I'm seeing.
Oh, okay, Jinora.
J-G,
I can't even remember the mom's name.
GIF, you know.
Can you remember the mom's name?
Mom's name wasn't.
Here we go.
It's Pamela. It's not Pamela.
Whose mom? Tenzin's mom?
Tenzin's wife.
Tenzin's mom was Katara.
Yeah, it was Katara. And his sister is Kaya. And then you got Boomy. Why can't I remember some of these more specific names? It doesn't make any sense.
Because some of them were more instrumental.
I guess so, yeah. But Pema didn't really do anything.
But I mean, like... Jinora was extremely instrumental throughout the series.
Yeah, Pema. Without Jinora, they probably would have failed multiple times. Like they wouldn't have found the Earthbenders, they wouldn't have found Korra, they wouldn't have been able to do all that stuff in the spirit world.
They wouldn't have been able to stop the poachers from hunting the flying bison.
Exactly.
They feed to the Earth Queen because she enjoys bison steaks,
she's a
the
psychopath.
monster.
And also Jinora saved Korra twice.
She did.
Once by herself and then once with the help of the other airbenders. So like if it wasn't for Jinora, Korra would be non-existent.
Yeah, she interfered with that fight with Vaatu,
yeah.
right?
Yep. Jinora was really big in it. You know, the last season was a little underwhelming. I do like how they wrapped it up where they kind of were like, they're going to go in the spirit world now.
There is a very, very almost unsung character in all of Avatar that I want to draw attention to at this moment.
My cabbages!
Not the cabbage guy. Wan Shi Tan.
Oh yeah, Wan
man,
Shitan's
the
library.
bird ghost in the library that
I know
got
how
to speak
a radio works.
to. Yes, there is a tiny man in a box and he sings and plays musical instruments. Apparently, I've been fed lies about men in boxes.
That poor dog. Like he did his best. That's what he really thought was in a radio. No doubt in my mind.
Well, he got into the library that way.
He got in the library. I still love how shout back to Sokka Wan Shitan. He tied the little dragonfly knot and was like, "Here you go." And he's like, "I guess this counts." Bird swoosh. Ah, man. And I did like that the researcher from the first was dead, but he was still there.
The last guy, I could spend my whole life here.
And
the last guy who said that is actually still here.
Yeah, and he's just like pile of books. Yeah. It was good.
It was, and it's nice that they made those callbacks, like the moments where you speak to Iroh, you get to see Iroh again in the spirit world.
So
it's like a breath of fresh air because he was such an influential and important character in the first one, and then he appears again to speak to Korra or to speak to Tenzin and his brother and sister, or to speak to Korra again because he speaks to the Avatar a bunch of times.
Right.
And every time it's just as awesome and influential as it was in Avatar Last Airbender.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, how could I can't believe they have a show without this guy in it more.
Yeah. I really wanted to see more Iroh. I do like the extended stuff that you get with him, like outside and like the comic books and stuff. But I mean, again, too, I like that it was like limited because it's not supposed to be about the old gang. It's supposed to be about the new gang with a little bit of pepper and salt from the old gang. You know,
they were there. Like Fire Lord Zuko was there with a fucking dragon.
Well, I mean, Roku had a dragon.
Roku did have a dragon.
And I think the last Fire Lord did have a dragon before Azulon. Because Azulon hunted them down.
Sozin.
Sozin? Was it Sozin who had? No, because Sozin had a dragon, didn't he? That's
I thought Ozai hunted them down.
Ozai? No, Azulon was Ozai's father. I think Azulon fought.
Didn't Iroh say something about not wanting to hunt them down?
Yeah, he remember the Sunbenders, like that whole society.
Yeah,
I think Iroh knew about that and kept that a secret because that was like the last dragons.
Yes. But I think that's one of that's where Zuko's new dragon came from. I think that's one of them.
Dragon, when a mommy dragon and a daddy dragon love each other very much.
No, I think that's one of those dragons. I think the other one died already.
I don't know. I don't want to think about dead dragons. I just want to think about dragons fucking.
Hey, I play D&D, and I know that dragons both die.
Dragons do fuck.
Dragons die and dragons fuck.
Yes, dragons definitely fuck.
Whatever they feel like at whatever time because they're a dragon and they don't give a fuck. Unless they feel like giving a fuck.
Yeah.
In which case, run.
Exactly. So yeah, I mean, overall, I think Korra definitely was written out as a good series. Now, we've talked about like all of, we've done our run through, we talked about our positives, the stuff we like. I think we should talk a little bit about the stuff we don't like. I have a short list. I don't know how long of a list you have on the things you don't like.
It's massive.
Oh boy. All right. So let me.
My fort is huge.
All right. Let me shoot this. Okay. So I don't like how everything seemed to progress so quickly over such a short span of episodes, but that's not really the writer's fault. That's more the studio for basically not telling them they get another season until after the season's been completed every time.
Yeah.
I do not like how the season finale ended in like such like a mediocre, modest way. It wasn't like a big bang like you would expect from a series finale. I didn't like the romance stuff was like, I thought it was neat. Like I wanted to see more of like the romance stuff in the original Atla. So seeing it in Legend of Korra was cool, but I don't really like the way they did it.
It was fumbly teenager romance.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to be fumbly and not exactly.
I do like how it ends up, I like that, it's that subjective belief and they confirm that it's canon that those two get together when they go on the vacation to Spirit World. Like I like how that ends, but like I didn't like the whole like the back and forth with Mako thing. Like I didn't like, Asami, then Korra, then Asami again, and then Korra comes back and she has memory loss and then back and forth. And it's like, dude, like why, no, stop. I get she lost her memory, but I feel like they should have just had him be like, yeah, we broke up because honestly, like that side point of them not actually doing it, like didn't really add anything to the story for me.
No, it doesn't.
It was just like, oh, you're going to make him look, as a character, you're going to make him look shittier than he already is.
And he does look shitty.
He
in
is
quite
kind
a
of a
few
shit.
moments. He's a good
guy.
He's a good guy, but he has to do the shitty things sometimes because what is he going to get Bolin to do it?
No,
Bolin won't do it. Bolin is he's a kind-hearted soul.
He's a goober.
And he knows, and Mako knows that about his brother. He's not going to let him he's not going to make him do anything that's going to taint his soul in such a way.
Yeah. Mako's just like, I'll be the garbage brother.
I'll be he was.
He was the garbage brother.
He saw right through Kai, like from the very beginning. He was like,
because he was Kai.
You. I will, and he even tells him that. He's like, I know what you're up to because I was you.
Yeah.
And Kai's like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
I just love my new family, you little shit.
He was a bastard.
He was a bastard.
But only at first.
One other thing I do like, because my short list of don't like things is off, I do like how Boomy found out he had airbending because he made a sweater for the first time to put on Boom June, and Boom June was not having that shit.
And he followed him out onto the tree branch.
And then he fell, and then he caught himself, and then he caught the plate when Mila was like, "Heads up, Uncle Boomy." Like, that was funny to me. Like, the man knit his pet a sweater.
I feel like that was when the rest of that family found out that Boomy was an airbender. I feel like that was a callback to when Boomy found out that Aang was an airbender, because he was like, think fast across the table.
Yeah.
And just like Boomy did, he paused the dish.
There were a lot of callbacks like that, which I really liked.
Yeah. And I think they did that on purpose for the fans.
That's what I like too. They did a lot of like low key callbacks. Like, you had to catch it, you know. I notice more stuff now that I've watched it a second time through and a third time through now with this one to like catch those little things. But what are some of the things that you didn't like that I didn't list? Because I know the things that I didn't like are definitely on your list.
I already mentioned that I didn't like that they destroyed the connection to the previous avatars.
Yeah, that was bunk.
That really hurt me, because honestly, it's Avatar. I guess it's the Legend of Korra in this one.
Yeah.
It's not really.
It's not the last Airbender. Yeah,
it's not about the Avatar.
I would have liked to see
Korra.
Kyoshi more.
It would have been nice to have seen her get more guidance from the previous avatars, because, we'll be honest, she needed the fuck out of it. But I guess I can. It's not that I don't like this about it, but it's something that really dawned on me towards the last few episodes, is that it wasn't about, like, for Avatar: Last Airbender, he had, everything was there and he just had to learn it. But Korra had to learn everything herself. And she could have gotten help from people, but more often than not, what I didn't like is that she had to do it herself. There was no other option, because she alienated herself this way or that way to this group of people or that group of people. And it happened almost throughout the whole series. And I saw that it was needless towards the end.
Yeah, I get what you're saying too, but I mean, also, like, think back to the first season, right? So, like, you have, like, this one single calamity that the Avatar is trying to, you know, circumnavigate, is to defeat the Fire Lord and get the Fire Nation back to where the fuck they're supposed to be, right? Korra gets, like, 4 to 5 different nonsensical bullshit things every time. If you remember, there were plenty of people and plenty of instances where Aang was not like, hey, look, it's the Avatar. We love him. It was like, hey, look at that motherfucker. Let's kill him. You know,
yes,
it was far and few between, because the world was at war with the one nation, and it was like a collective thing. And they were like, well, the Avatar's on our side, da 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 da. More so with Korra, it was like things were happening to her, not things were happening to everyone else, where she was objectively involved on one good side. Because, like, you know, even for instance, and shout back to ATLA, when they go to the island, you know, that town where Kyoshi killed, you know, whatever his name is, I don't care. And they wanted to, like, put him in prison, and then, like, they were going to boil him in oil, and then now they're like, oh, you saved us from bandits, so we have the Unfried Dough Avatar Festival now, da-da-da. They don't like him, you know? They don't like him at all. But Korra just runs into that more and more, because, like, I don't know, everything's just different. It's all stuff coming at her for the most part. Because, like, realistically, at the end of the day, like, Amon takes away the Avatar's bending, cuts off the Avatar state. Who does that affect the most? The Avatar. Spooky Death, Doom, 10,000 Years of Darkness rips out Rava, affects the Avatar the most. Red Lotus, Poison, kill the Avatar forever, destroy her, affects the Avatar the most. The only thing that really affected anybody else was season 4, and it was the most underwhelming thing. So I get what you're saying. Like, I didn't like that either, but I mean, I get why it happened, because it just makes sense with what's available and how everything was working out.
Yeah. Yeah, I do, and with how you mentioned before, with the production of how Legend of Korra was. Oh well, this is the last season. No, this is the last season.
Yeah, because even it was just supposed to be the first season 1. That was supposed to be it. It was just supposed to be a one-shot runoff.
Really?
Yeah, but we liked it so much that the studio was like, "All right, well, we're gonna do another one, and we don't know if we're gonna do one after that, though."
But then they did, and then they did again. They should have. Do you
They
think it would have
just
been better if they ended at 3?
I think. Okay, I don't think it would have been better if they ended at 3. I think it would have been better if they would have given, after the first season and the second confirmation, I think it would have been better if the studio would have given them confirmation for the 3 other seasons. I think it would have been a lot different. I think we maybe wouldn't have seen so many plot point arcs.
It would have been just one long arc.
Yeah, it would have just been like one long grinding thing, or maybe 2, or just something that connects to it. But it was like everything, once that season ended, everything from the previous season was shut and closed. Nothing like really reopened. Outside of, the Earth Kingdom's thrown into chaos because there's a here, and then Quivera, whatever her name is.
Zavira.
Yes, picks up and is like unification. That was the only thing that really carried over. I mean, outside of like Korra having her like internal issues from dealing with everything.
Which she had a lot of.
Yeah, but nothing like you did not hear anything about the Equalists ever again after the first season.
No,
they were just gone.
I'm certain that they were still there.
Oh, for sure. But Avatar, poof, gone. For the show. So nothing really carried.
I didn't like that either.
Yeah. I mean, the spirits carried over, obviously, because that's a world change, and then like the Red Lotus stuff because it was affected to her. But like, yeah, I mean, outside of that, nothing really like continued.
What did you think about her deciding to leave the spirit barrier, the spirit, the connection?
I thought it was a good choice because that's how the world was in the first place. And I think like the shut off was, something that needed to happen at the time, but definitely was like a negative thing. Cause like you got to think about it too. There were still spirits in like the realm of men, like Cone, the face stealer.
Yes.
Yeah. She was definitely a spirit. She was stuck in the world.
That was in Avatar, right?
Yeah, she was definitely stuck in the world. So I definitely think like that she reopened that back up and reintroduced spirits back in the world. I think that was a good call.
I think it was too, but I bet a lot of the people of Republic City didn't.
Well, they didn't like it at first, and then it's like, dude, get used to it, because nobody likes change. Nobody likes like, oh, this is my normativity, and then all of a sudden it's a different thing. They're like, oh no, I've got a duck monster in my toilet. And there's like some weird crane poof ball in my kitchen sink.
I would be terrified.
I wouldn't. I'd be like, look at these cute little guys.
These things are everywhere. How am I supposed to poop?
I don't know. I mean, you have dogs. Don't you like poop when they're in the bath? Don't they come in the bathroom with you and watch you poop? You watch them poop.
I watch them poop, but that's because I'm keeping an eye out for predators.
Yeah, well, that's what they're trying to do for you.
No, I poop with the door shut.
Do you poop with the door shut after you bring the dogs into the bathroom? I would hope you close the door when you poop.
I close the door when I poop.
I don't know.
That's all I'm going to say about that.
I guess it's different. I've always had cats, and like my ex-girlfriends have trained my cats to follow them into the bathroom, and then they follow me into the bathroom. So then I'm trying to poop, and I got a cat sitting on my lap.
Why are we talking about pet poop?
I don't know.
When there wasn't any. I mean, they didn't show any kind of pickup for Naga or Pabu, which is I really feel like a polar bear dog would produce a lot of waste.
Giant poops. Also, no one you never see anyone using like the bathroom or taking a shower. Really.
There was one guy in season.
Oh yeah,
4,
I gotta pee.
I gotta pee. He was trying to push Korra out of the bathroom. But that's all I could think.
Yeah, you never really get like a scene of someone taking a dump. Which I'm glad.
What? Nobody wants to watch that.
Nobody wants to like animate that, I think.
I would feel like I don't think they could
I don't
animate
know.
it.
There's a lot of weird hentai artists out there. Who knows what you can do these days?
That's not what we're talking about this time around, though.
So do you have any more negatives about the show that you want to stress out or maybe hit another positive?
I do want to point out that the Airbenders, I feel like if they'd have tried the new Airbenders, they were completely within their right to tell Tenzin no when he's going around like door to door, like, oh, you won't have to worry about any of your worldly possessions because you won't have any.
A bison will be your best friend.
And they shut the door on him. I can't believe this. I would love to have a flying bison as a best friend. Who doesn't?
Too.
Oh man, that would be so fucking cool. If I was an airbender, I would have absolutely gone with them.
Yeah.
I mean, I love you guys. I'm not going to lie. I really do. But
I would have told you to go.
You would have told me to go?
Yeah, because I'm tired of looking at you.
Ouch.
I'm kidding.
Ouch. My pride.
Dude, if all your buddies were benders and you finally got the ability to bend air, yeah, get your ass out of here. Go on, get.
And then what happens to the Northern Air Temple?
it gets got by the Red Lotus and everybody gets
It
fucked up.
gets melted in a bunch of lava.
Yeah.
I gotta say that trick that Ming Hao used with, oh, hey, here's all the airbenders. Trust me. And she's just kind of sitting there with water in a bunch of the fucking airbender like hoods and cowls. Oh, man.
So cool.
She is probably my favorite villain, specifically. Because she didn't have arms.
No,
but she didn't need them.
No, she was a straight up savage. She didn't need arms.
Terrifying. I would probably surrender if I had to fight this person.
Dude, all in all, you love it, you hate it. Legend of Korra was a good series with a lot of good stuff. It had some bad stuff in it, but doesn't everything, I mean, Avatar: The Last Airbender wasn't perfect either, but I'm not going to get into that.
I was wrong to not give it a chance when it came out.
I agree.
And thanks.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that I did. And I feel like anybody else out there should too.
Yeah, for sure. So if you haven't seen Legend of Korra yet, please go take a gander. It is now available on Netflix in US. I don't know about anywhere else because I don't live there and I don't Google it. My apologies. Be self-sufficient.
You're not sorry.
No, I'm not sorry. But it's on Netflix, and you got Avatar: The Last Airbender. So if you're listening to these episodes in order and you haven't seen Avatar: The Last Airbender since the last episode, and you definitely haven't watched Korra, I would definitely say go and binge that. It's in a pandemic. Don't go outside.
The last one we called Flameo Hotman. Can we call this one Pabu's Pep Talk?
Yes, that is the name of this episode is Pabu's Pep Talk.
Awesome.
Absolutely fantastic. So, I mean, I think that's all we have for Legend of Korra, but we do have one more special extra bonus segment for you guys today.
We do.
My boy here is just growing with facts, just got a pile of them
I do
stored.
Matt facts.
Yes.
Every day at my work, I provide a strange or ridiculous fact to everyone, and they seem to eat it up.
Yes, and now we're bringing it to you.
And today's Matt fact is that kangaroos have the ability to pause their pregnancy in a way. If they feel that it is unsafe for them to give birth at the time, they can wait.
Wait a minute, wait. You're telling me that a kangaroo can just say, hey, baby, there's a leopard out here. We're not ready. I'm going to just put this on pause. I'll be right back. Don't touch the DVR.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
How?
Well, there's also sometimes if they feel like their previous baby or joey, they're called joeys.
Yes.
Is not prepared enough to leave the pouch because they have that pouch. They're kangaroos. They can just kind of stop that pregnancy and be like, okay, I'm gonna wait until this one grows a bit more.
The first thought in my head is that how wild is it that not only can they pause the pregnancy, but they're like, I don't want this baby out of me right now. They could just be like, I don't feel like giving birth this week, and then they don't.
Kind of, yeah. They also can't hop backwards.
Just like a cow can't walk downstairs.
Which is kind of strange to me. You'd think they'd be able to, but maybe that's more like a mental thing for them.
Like they just can't overcome their fear of stairs when they're looking down.
Yes.
Only when they're looking up, because they don't have to look at the stairs.
Well, it's not like you could fall up some stairs.
I don't know, man. Haven't you ever seen that Picasso, that painting with all the stairs?
Crazy
stairs? Yeah.
I don't think that's what it's called.
Oh, boy. All right. Well, anyway, thank you guys for listening again.
Absolutely.
Thanks for checking in to Matt and Andy with Andy and Matt. I'm Andy and he's Matt. And
that was Korra.
Yeah.
Superman.